Hey, it's Tom from Texas, and it's time for another Floppy Deep Dive. So on this Floppy Deep Dive, we're going to be looking at the football games from late 70s, early 80s. We're going to be looking at the retro football games and checking it out in honor of the Super Bowl weekend and the Super Bowl being this Sunday. So I dug out all my floppies for my Commodore 64, anything that had football related games on there I thought would be cool, so I pulled those out so we could look at all those, and then pulled any games that I had for the NES and any other system that I had that had football. So I pulled all those games together, I played them. I'm going to put them all together in a video here for you guys so you could check them out. Just thought it was really cool just to see how football really evolved over the years from the late 70s all through the 80s and now all the way up. Now I'm just looking at the 70s and 80s, and that's all I'm going to be checking out, and there's plenty of different games that are out there, and we'll be looking at as many as we can. This isn't an all comprehensive list, but if I missed something, let me know what I missed. And I always loved sports games growing up. I loved playing against my brothers, the different sports. We would always play these games: football, baseball, hockey. We all know and are aware of Madden and all the Madden games and how they come out every year, and EA has pretty much owned the NFL and football games since, you know, that time. But back in this time, everybody could make football games. They were all different. They were all unique. Some of them were really, really good. Some of them were really, really bad. But they were just trying to make them from the beginning with the Atari and just the 3 players on the field, to Intellivision diving into sports, to the Commodore 64 taking over, the NES in the 80s. All those were very cool. Plus you had your good old arcade game back there in the 80s. Probably late 70s, the one where you could, where just X's and O's and you could roll the ball to go where you want. So we're going to just be checking it out, all systems. I'll give you a list of the different systems, too many to even remember. But when I'm showing the video, what I'll do is, while the game's playing, I'll have the little computer up in the corner showing you what system it's tied to. And some of these games, they were out on all systems. Like John Elway had the football game in the 80s, and it was released for everything. So I try to look as many different systems as I can. I'll put the computer up in the corner so you can see exactly which system it is when it's playing, and I'll just give you a little snippet of each. I played a lot of different football games, about 6 hours worth of just playing different football games on different systems, and just had a blast doing it. And now I'm going to share that video with you, and I hope it's something that you enjoy. Again, I thought with the Super Bowl, this was just perfect timing to do this. So let's go ahead, pull up a chair, grab a joystick, and let's get started. So these are all the different systems that we're going to be representing today when we're playing different football games. So I'll just start at the top left. We've got your Apple II, we've got your Atari 2600, the Atari 7800 is also representative, but it's not on here. We've got Spectera. We also have this system that I have not used a lot, and this is the Bally Professional Arcade. And then next we've got the Atari 800 XL, of course, good old Commodore 64. ColecoVision. We also have the Odyssey. Then we have the Intellivision, the NES. We have the Apple IIGS. We have the Amstrad CPC. We've got Texas Instrument. We have the Emerson Arcadia 2001. And then this symbol, the very last one there, is just representing the arcade, and different football arcade games were out there. And this was one of the first ones that I was aware of that's out there, was this Atari. So these are all the different systems that has games with football on it. And so now let's check out the different games. So first we're going to look at the arcade version of Atari football. And this one I remember as a kid being in a pizza shop and seeing it, where it had the trackball, where you could move the trackball to be able to move your play. You select the different plays. And I think this was the first time that I saw a football in an arcade when I was a kid. And just thought this was so cool. I never really could play. I was probably like 5. But I watched other people play and just thought it was really, really cool how they handled it, how you picked your plays and how it went, and you had your X's and O's when you were playing. So good one to start with, the arcade version of Atari football. So next we're going to be looking at the Atari 2600. And I got this game when I was a kid for our Atari. And of course it has the 3-on-3, and that's what everybody mentions when you had your first arcade football at home, where you could play this game, but it was so unrealistic because it had the 3-on-3. But I still liked it. We played it quite a bit. I mean, it was our only option and only football that we had. So it was definitely worth playing it and everything. I liked it. It was great memories tied to it. And this is where it all started for me at home with the Atari 2600 and playing this game.
Will sit through almost anything to watch a good football game. Here's Intellivision NFL football. Come on! Now for Atari football. Hey, where'd everybody go? Intellivision football. I think it's the closest thing to the real thing.
So Nick's is Intellivision, and I love the Intellivision. I believe my brother purchased it after we saw the Intellivision. The sports games were so much better. I think the first time I saw an Intellivision was at my cousin's house up in Nebraska. They had an Intellivision, and they had the baseball, and that baseball blew away again anything that the Atari did. I don't remember them having football, but this is the football version of what was on Intellivision, and it looks so good, even though it's not like the whole team or anything. But looks so much better and so much, detailed, even though it's just still 5 and just a couple more guys. But still, it looked incredible at the time, loved it, and Intellivision really showed what direction football was going. And just a great system with great sport games at the time. So next we're going to look at the Bally Professional Arcade system, and I got it to work a little bit, but I could not figure out the controls, so this one comes and goes as fast as it comes up on the screen. After that, I check out the Odyssey. In the Odyssey, I figured out the controls. I could actually play it, and not too bad of a game at all. Once I figured out what I was doing and how to do the different controls on the Odyssey, the play looked all right. So those two systems really quick. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So now we're going to check out a bunch of different football games, and the first one we're checking out is the TI-99, and this is its first football version. And I just thought it was unique and something cool just to see it. The players are little helmets when they play, kind of cool. Then we're going to check out the Emerson Arcadia and its football game just a little bit. Again, this one I couldn't get the controls to work the best on. Then we're going to look at my very first football game I got for the Commodore 64, which is the football strategy game. And this game here always is the bloop, 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 bloop sound that I always remember and always sticks in my head. But it was the first one I got before I got the on-field football. And then once I got on field football, played this quite a bit with my brother. And this one was a good one. This one came out, and anything from Gamestar was usually pretty dang good. Their sports games were awesome for baseball and for tennis, and this football one here. So enjoyed that one a lot. Then we're going to check out the ColecoVision Super Action Football. I got the controls to work a little bit, but it was a little bit of a struggle. That one was kind of hard for me. And then we're going to look back on the Commodore 64 for the world's greatest football game. And just a little bit of that one. The play on that wasn't very good. I needed more of the manual and everything. It's just too much clicking and you couldn't really play. Not a huge fan of that one. And then on NES, we check out 10-Yard Fight. And 10-Yard Fight is actually pretty fun. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. That was a good game. And then back to the Commodore 64, we're going to check out Super Bowl Sunday. And this Super Bowl Sunday was a pretty good one too. I like the action of it. All of these kind of look similar, how the players are made up, and they look pretty good. And then I came across this weird one called Super Bowl 20. And in this one, I did not like the play. I was not a big fan of it. Ocean Software made it. And it kind of gave you this replay off to the side, but the play was kind of difficult and wasn't the best game in the world. And then we're going to check out the next one is the Commodore 64 Sublogic football. And Sublogic football played a lot like these other ones that were looking like the Super Bowl Sunday one, but definitely a little bit different and had its own uniqueness and not bad at all. So now we're going to check out GFL Championship football. And this is a really cool and unique one that's different than all of them because it's in first person and everything's 3D and everything's coming at you. So this is on the Commodore 64, so let's check it out. So now we're going to check out Touchdown Football, and this was also released on multiple systems. So we'll look at it on the Commodore 64, and then we'll check it out on the Atari 800XL, the Atari 7800 version, and just so you can see the little bit of differences between all the different systems. So let's check it out. So now we're going to look at John Elway quarterback for multiple systems just to see the differences and see how they play a little bit. First we're going to look at it on the Commodore 64. Then we're going to look at it, the arcade version of it. Then we're going to look at the Amstrad. Then we'll check out the ZX Spectrum. And we'll check out the Apple II of the John Elway, and we'll also check out the NES. So it was released on a lot of them. Let's go ahead and dive in and check them all out. So next we're going to look at 4th and inches for the Commodore 64 and the Atari 2GS. This one came out Accolade in 1987, and I love this one. This was my favorite one, and all through the whole 80s, I played this one the most. So let's check it out on both these systems. So now we're going to look at the original Madden when it came out in 1988 and 1989. It came out on the Apple II and the Commodore 64. So let's check both those games out. So last but not least is the Tecmo Bowl, and no 80s retro football list would be complete without this one on the NES. This one is just a classic, and it's so much fun to play. And this one came out in 1989, so it just made the list, but definitely one that needed to be on the list, so let's check it out.
Ready, down, put. 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 Ready, down, put.
So that's it, guys. That's all the different football games that I have for the different systems. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What was your favorite football game in the late 70s and all through the 80s that you played all the time? I love 4th and Inches. Out of all these, 4th and Inches is my favorite to play during that time. Just an excellent quality football game. Came out, Accolade did such a good job on it. Just give it a huge thumbs up. Love my Commodore games, love all the games of the different systems. Even love my good old Atari with the 3 little guys playing. So until next time, thank you for joining me on another Floppy Deep Dive.